Mr. Flanagan.
Thank you very much. It's all very, very interesting. I particularly want to focus on the producer organisations and also what is possible to be done in relation to who the producers deal with, in other words, with their size. And I mentioned this before, and I'm just wondering what your opinion is on it. We had a situation in Ireland where in the airline industry, Ryanair purchased Aer Lingus shares and ended up, well, being accused of trying to be in a market position that was too dominant. Now, there's two ways to even it up between David and Goliath. You can chop down Goliath and you can build up David to even it up. Now, the producer organisations is an attempt to build up the actual suppliers. But what can be done from a competition point of view? And I hear MEP Agnew mention there's strong competition law in the UK. I'd love to see how it's operated because it's actually an area that I'm on about. What can be done to chop down or minimise the size of these people, whether they be meat factories, whether they be supermarkets, whether they be large dairies? What exactly can be done to reduce their size? Because I thought it was very interesting that the lady mentioned that she would have an idea of what sort of farmers or people she was dealing with by who was in the car park. Whereas if they were grain or cereal farmers, they would have Mercedes-Benz or whatever, and then down to a level where a local development would be the small little car like ourselves. But the reality is, many of the people that these producers are dealing with, and I know of one that has his own private jet. Now, the reason why he has a private jet isn't because he robbed a whole lot of money. He has a load of money. And that money originally came off farmers, came out of my community and will never ever come back. So I'm wondering what your suggestion is when it comes to chopping down the legs of Goliath. And also, I'm really curious about the strong competition law in the UK, because the information that I have is that there isn't an awful lot of real competition there. And let's say, for example, when it comes to rendering of offal, the information that I have and what people tell me is that well, there isn't an awful lot of competition there, to the point that if you don't do what you're told, they won't deal with your product. And what can you do about that? Because I think that's against competition law, but it seems competition law is always used to crush the small and not have a go at the big. So what can be done without us breaking the wonderful laws of the European Union?